So you were talking about the comparison between science and tantra, and actually we skipped some things last time. So if you can just elaborate it a little, so that our viewers can understand the logic between tantra and science. Okay. So here, when it comes to science, I divide tantra into three categories of science. The first category of science is physics, second category of science is chemistry, and the third category of science is biology. But at the same time, it's not just science, it's also the social science, and that is psychology, which also plays a very important role in Tantra. Now, suppose if I give an example of how each and every subject of science is creating some kind of contribution, directly and indirectly, in Tantra, that would be a bigger episode. But to cut down in a nutshell, let me put it you the entire information in a typical way. Suppose if we start with the energies, because Tantra has all about energies. Suppose if we start with the energies, how we feel the energy. How can one feel the energy? Is it somewhat psychological? Maybe to some extent, we shouldn't deny. But the levels of energy that arouse in our body has vibrations. Now, these vibrations can be vibrations due to chanting the mantras, focusing on some sounds, focusing on your rituals. But somewhere the energy, the vibrations work. And when there is vibrations, it's all about physics. See, I'm not a science student, so I may not give the exact examples, but yeah, to some extent, I can correlate both the things together. Now, now comes the chemistry part of the Tantra. Now, this chemistry part of the Tantra is really very interesting. For example, in chemistry, there are reactions, chemical reactions. The same thing happens in Tantra. For example, there is a specific metal that has to be used in Tantra. Or, for example, there is a stone that has to be used in Tantra. Now, this stone or an anguthi, Tantra also has anguthi. Now, this anguthi that you wear has to be of a particular metal. It has to be worn in a particular muhurat, in a particular way. And this entire process, somewhere it involves your direct body interfacing that particular metal. Now, as an individual, we might not have that idea that how this metal will work. But there are some reactions which work, which enhances your powers, which controls the reflections, negativities, whatever. So this is the second point of chemistry. Now the third and very important point is the biological point. We are all aware that our biological creation, that is the human beings, are created of five basic elements: air, water, fire, earth, and sky. Tantra is a format which regulates all the five elements of our body. You may say that seven chakras are ignited because of Tantra. But every individual on this earth has one or the two chakras that are already ignited, but he is not aware about that ignition of that chakras. While when you follow a particular process, and I always call Tantra a process to achieve a specific goal. When you achieve a particular process, when you practice a particular process, you are going towards a goal. And this process emits vibrations. It emits positivity in terms of vibrations. It emits sound vibrations through chanting. It emits chemical reactions, because anything and everything, including our any of the metals, or say for example vanaspati, some herbs, or some kind of metals or some kind of stones that comes into contact with air, there is a reaction. And Tantra has finally jotted down that reactions, and it has incorporated in that process of achieving a particular goal. For example, if I tell you, it may be a totka for you, and totka is a small kind of experiment which is like throwaway stuff. But if you are facing some mental agonies, frustrations, anguishness, anxiety, you must be knowing that the Jyotishi will tell you to wear a moti, Chandra, mostly in a silver ring, and that too on the smallest finger. Now, when that moti comes in contact with your skin, the metal that comes in contact with the skin, it emits some kind of chemical reaction. There is some kind of chemical reactions which takes place, due to which you find solace, some kind of peace, because that reaction, that chemical reaction, indirectly, directly touches your mind. Again, the nerve system of our body, say this Kanishta. So Kanishta has some direct connection with our mind. So if you wear a silver ring on Kanishta, it actually precipitates the mind. It enhances the soothing of mind. And there is for sure some kind of chemical reaction that will take place. And it will help to achieve a particular goal. So this is the second point. If I talk about the biological structure, there are so many biological structures that are infused in Tantra. For example, when you are meditating, there are various kinds of meditations available in this world: soothing meditation, focusing meditation, solace meditation, or they have different names, different clans, different cults are also getting followed. But ultimately, meditation is either focusing or relaxing your mind. There are only two categories that works, and there is no third category as of now. One meditation is which focuses your mind, which creates a focus, which creates an edge in your mind, which creates an edgy mind. While the other meditation is soothing your mind. It creates soothing effect on your in your mind, calms your mind, makes you feel energetic, which makes you feel rejuvenated because you are calm. And this two kinds of any practices you go for, you'll only find this two kinds of ultimate source of meditation. Now, Tantra. In Tantra, meditation plays a very vital role. Say, for example, you must have seen the television serials, most of the television serials, when there is some Tantra or Tantric effect that is to be created, they use only one chant, Om Am Rim Klim Chamundaya Vichye. Whether it's a demon or rishi or whosoever, they only have got one mantra. And they always use it, and we feel that, oh my god, this mantra has all that. It's not like that. But talking, we'll talk this later on about this particular mantra. But coming back to the point, this entire stuff of chanting mantra is actually evoking the vibrations, creating the vibrations like Om, Aim, Ring, Klim, Chamundai, Vijay. So if you will just, when I am speaking this, and if you will just go through your audio meter, you will find so many zigzag, 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 zigzag waves. Now all these waves are vibrations. And these vibrations, when generated, they have a specific format. And that specific format is, they have a specific audio wavelength. And that audio wavelength, in a particular metered format, reaches or spreads across the universe. When it spreads across the universe, there is a comeback. The vibrations get reflected, sound, and they come back to you. And indirectly or directly, you can say, the vibrations create a kind of unseen guard around you, which is known as the Raksha Kavach or the Raksha Mantra, which is very specific importance in conducting any tantric processes. Because first of all, in any tantric processes, it is always told that you need to chant the Raksha Mantra that you know for X number of times. To create yourself, you have to make yourself safe in such a way that no outside vibrations can ping you in your body. And just by chanting a mantra, which is Raksha Mantra, how can you keep the negative or whatever the vibrations away from your body? It's really a very unrealistic understanding. But if we go in deep of it, we will see that when you are chanting a mantra in a particular way, the sound waves of that mantra travel and it creates a kind of guard around you. So when the other energies, say positive or negative, I'm not talking about only energies. I'm also talking the positive energies. But where the energies which are not required at that but to achieve that particular process, they just come around. At that moment of time, your body, because your body soaks, catches the vibrations. So if they catch the vibrations, your entire process gets hampered. And when your process gets hampered, your that particular goal is not achieved. So that Raksha mantra creates a kind of guard through vibrations, and that vibrations actually fight back, or they become the reflectors in such a way that any energies that try to enter in your body, they just reflect the energy back, and you are safe and you are focused. So if we take these three aspects of science, say physics, chemistry, and biology, these three aspects are always there. The three aspects are always there. In physics, in our school days, we had so many experiments in physics, that vibration tongue and whatever. Now there are that vibrations is there. Even physics has accepted that vibrations. And that vibrations has a sound. So if a vibration from a particular instrument can create a sound and it's there, then when we are speaking, our vowels are the machines or the softwares which creates sound, which creates vibrations. Our sound is transformed into vibrations and it spreads around. And that is where the physics is important. And if somebody asks me that which out of the three science, out of the three subject of science, which science has more relevance in Tantra, then I will call it physics. Physics and Tantra goes together, one or the other way. And there are various examples that I can quote, which I will be quoting in coming sessions too. But physics has a very important contribution in achieving the process of Tantra. So, whether you believe it or you don't believe, physics has its strength. Now, when it comes to physics, physics is not just sounds and energy, it's also the material. If I ask you a question, where do you put fire in science? Is it a biological reaction, a chemical reaction, or a physics? Then for sure, 80% physics, 20% chemical reactions. But most of the time it's physics, because there is a when two objects obstruct with each other, when they are scratched with each other, that creates a kind of heat. It generates heat, and when it generates heat, it generates fire. In our old rituals, we never used to lit the yagna agni with a matchstick. There was a special instrument made up of wood with a rope, and they used to literally tie that rope, and they used to put that rope in such a way, and they used to then slowly and gradually start crushing it with the wood and other stuff. And suddenly the spark, after a particular heat is achieved, the spark would click, and then the Yagnagni would erupt. that is the Shastrokta style of igniting the Agni, the fire in the yagnas. At the same time, I don't say that that's very, no doubt it's good, but it was actually a physical, it was actually a invention of that time, because at that time there was no mastic, there was no petrol, there was nothing which, there were no sparks, electronic sparks, electric sparks that we have now. So that was the only medium to generate the fire. Until now, I mean, even now, there are so many temples which has this machine. It's a manual format of creating fire. Say when you go with for camping, and if you see, there are two rods which, when you scratch the rods with each other, the sparks comes out, and then you can fire. The camping kit always has this kind of stuff, this tool. But that tool, both the tools, if you think on a scientific way, both the tools have that ultimate goal is to generate fire. So I always say that Tantra has some kind of physics, or 80% of physics, or say 60% of physics, 20% of chemistry, and 20% of biology. There is also a psychological aspect which is connected to it. But I think that we will be talking in our next session too. But as of now, I think it's a very small main understanding. It's a very small format of making people understand that how Tantra is connected with physics, chemistry, and biology. Thank you. Thanks for the time.